there, welcome. This is Shruti, and in today's video, I'm going to be walking you through all things Pinterest boards and what you need to know to leverage them effectively. Make sure to give this video a like so that more people can find this video, and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. And with that, let's dive in. So first things first, let's talk about what exactly are boards and how you can use them on Pinterest. So boards represent a group of pins that you can save related to a certain interest, hobby, or a specific category. Now, boards can either be personal boards or they can be business boards, which are related to what you represent as a brand or a business. Now, obviously, if you use Pinterest for business or you use Pinterest to make money, then you should have boards that are highly relevant to your business. Because if you're a personal user, then your aim is going to be completely different from what you need to do as a business user. And I hope you're here to use Pinterest for business or for marketing, because that is the best place for you to learn exactly how to use Pinterest boards for your business. So as you can see in the picture, this is how boards look like on your profile. Now, these boards are never the same for everyone because they constitute of different pins, different categories, and different topics based on how you create them. So let's talk about why do you need to create boards? Like, what is so special about them? What makes them different, right? Now, boards first and foremost help you get discovered in Pinterest search. Now, I've spoken a lot about how Pinterest is a search engine on this channel, and you can watch some of the other videos to understand more about that. But in effect, when people are looking for you or your business on Pinterest, they can find you through one of the three ways. They can either discover you through one of the pins or the images that you create on Pinterest, or they can discover you through your profile. So if you give someone your profile, let's say on your website, they can come in and have a look at your profile and they can discover you that way. Or in this case, they can discover you through one of your boards. So you can filter out different people in different categories based on boards, as you can see in the image on the top right corner. And that means that when done right, Pinterest boards can actually help you get discovered and rank on Pinterest search. Next, they are also critical in helping you attract new followers and to showcase your content. So think about your boards as a sort of shop display, right? But it is an online shop display. So instead of having different mannequins as you would have in, let's say, a retail store, on Pinterest, you have different boards that display the different types of content that your business or your brand is all about. Not only this, based on this content, you attract new followers over time, because obviously you follow certain accounts based on the kind of content that they have, and your boards are a strong signal whether or not someone should follow your profile or your account or not. And not the least why it is important, but also the fact that when you're creating an overall business account and you're using Pinterest to leverage it for your business or your small business marketing, then your boards, when done right, signal a high quality account, which again feeds back to the first reason, which is it helps you get discovered in Pinterest search. Now, quality is always the name of the game when it comes to Pinterest, and the more high quality your boards are and the better and more strategic your boards are, the better you are going to be able to perform as well as grow on Pinterest. So there are two main types of boards when we talk about boards in general. Now, this video is specifically about personal boards. I also have a video on my channel on group boards, so you can go and check that out. I'm going to link it in the description box below. But let's talk about what makes these two things different. So when you talk about personal boards, these are boards that are related to your particular profile. Now, don't confuse them with, whether you should use it for business or not. Even if you have a business account, you can have personal boards, and essentially personal boards are limited to one contributor. So the differentiating factor between group boards and personal boards is that on personal boards, only one person, that is the account owner, can actually save content as well as pin content to that particular board. However, when it comes to group boards, you can have more than one contributor. So as you can see, I've highlighted one of the group boards, which is about social media tips. And in the profile display picture, you can see that there is more than one image, which usually signals a group board when you are, let's say, scanning through boards on Pinterest. And whereas if you don't have this common display picture with multiple images, then that usually means that it is a personal board that is, created by one of the accounts or one of the profiles on Pinterest. So to keep things simple for this video, I'm going to take you through more about how personal boards, function, and what are the things that maybe you are doing that you shouldn't be doing if you already have a couple of boards. So let's talk about the most common board mistakes and how you can avoid them. So first things first, The most common mistake that I see my students make is creating boards based on how cute they are or how amazing they sound. So, for example, creating boards like yummy recipes or cute frocks, things like that, which sound amazing and which can be cool for a personal user, but when you have a business account and you're using this for business, it doesn't really give the audience or your followers any idea about what this is all about. So when you're creating boards, you can't just go and dive in without a strategy, without thinking about what these boards represent for your business. Because when you don't have a strategy and you randomly name and create boards, then they don't really do anything to pull your account further or to grow your account. Another common mistake I see is saving low quality, or let's say, bad images, which are maybe dark, they're not as clear, maybe spammy content to your boards. And here's the thing. Pinterest users are very active about reporting spam in the community. So if they find your board and they find that you are creating pins which are consistently leading to bad quality links or consistently leading to spam on the internet, then they are probably going to file a report against your board, and that may lead to your account getting suspended. So when you're creating boards, think quality first. It's not just about creating a lot of boards, but it's actually about creating high quality content in each of your boards. And another common mistake that I see people make is that thinking that creating boards is just a one-time thing. Like, when I'm creating my profile, I'm going to create 5 boards, and those are going to be the 5 boards for the next 5 years. Wrong. That just doesn't work, especially when it comes to Pinterest, because Pinterest is constantly changing, it's constantly updating, and it's one of the things that you don't want to mess up when it comes to your long-term growth strategy. Now, it is important to check into your boards every once in a while. It can be once a month or once a quarter, depending on how much time you have. You need to be looking at how you can clean up the boards in case you have low quality content, or maybe even optimize those boards based on where your company is going or where the direction of your business is going. Now, I have a detailed course on this, on cleaning up your Pinterest boards, inside my membership program, PINFLUENCER Collective. So if you're interested in diving deeper into this particular aspect, you can definitely check out the program. The description is in the link below. All right, so where do you get board ideas? Another very, very common question that I get asked all the time. So Shruti, how do I find the right board ideas for my business? Now, honestly, there are many ways in which you can do this, but I'm going to share with you some of the top and the most effective ways to look for Pinterest board ideas to grow your business. So first and easiest way to look into, what are the board ideas that you can come up with for your business is snooping into your competitors and looking at the bigger brands, businesses, or influencers out there and checking out what are the different board ideas that they have assembled. So what are the things that they are doing on their account that you could maybe take inspiration from. The next way to look at Pinterest board ideas is to spend a little bit of time doing keyword research. Now, keyword research essentially helps you understand what are the different keywords that people are searching for to find your type of content or your type of products on Pinterest. Now, rest assured, Pinterest is a search engine, and think about every time that you have looked for a particular topic, what you typed into the search bar was actually a keyword. So when you start looking for keyword ideas, that will also give you an idea about what are the different boards that you can create in that particular category that would help your ideal audience find your board. Next up, you can think about what are the different content categories or product categories that your business represents. So let's say that you are a home decor business. In this case, maybe the different types of board ideas that you can have include, things for your living room, gift guide for home decor, people, and different things which would represent the types of products that you offer. So maybe you only offer products in a certain category, then maybe your boards should be named after those particular categories. If you are a blogger, you can think about what are the main content categories that you have. So let's say that you are a lifestyle blogger, but you talk about personal finance, you talk about travel, you talk about personal growth, then you can actually create different boards for each of these particular categories. Another really effective way to look at what are the different board ideas that you should be looking at is to look at trends.pinterest.com. Now, right now, this tool is only available to the North American audience and to UK. So depending on where you're based, you may or may not have access to this tool. You can find it at trends.pinterest.com, and there you can type in specific keywords and look for which keywords are trending and where is the higher demand. So for example, when it comes to different seasons and different holidays, automatically automatically the demand for that content is going to rise up. So for example, in during Christmas, a lot of trends will be around Christmas related boards. So you can start creating content based on these particular holidays, or you can start creating boards based around these holidays as well. Now, obviously, this will differ a lot based on your niche as well as the country that you're based. But if you are based in the US or Canada or UK, then you do have access to this tool, and you can look at what are people in my country searching for and how can I get ahead of this and leverage these trends to showcase as boards. So with that basic info out of the way, let's talk about how you can actually create a new board on Pinterest that actually works right now. So the first place that you need to be at in order to start thinking of creating a board is your profile page. So as you can see, this is one of my profiles. I have multiple Pinterest profiles, but I'm going to show you how to create a board using this one. So here you're going to navigate to the saved section. This has recently been changed by Pinterest, and earlier you could do this directly from your homepage, but now you have to navigate to saved, which is the area where you will see all of the boards that you have created historically, all of the group boards that you're a part of, etc. Now on the top right corner, you're going to see two options. So the plus option is where you can get into either creating a pin or a board. Now here's where you're going to navigate down to a board, and you're going to click through, and then you're going to find a name for your board. So based on one of the ways that I showed you in which you can create a board, you can just add something simple. So let's say that I want to create a board for Pinterest tutorials, then I can just name that as Pinterest tutorials and then decide whether or not I want this board to be either public or secret. So a secret board is something that you can just keep private until you're ready to toggle that off and make it public. This is excellent if you're doing some market research, if you want to keep some boards private because you want to launch a product and you don't want to launch it early, and so on and so forth. I have a full video on my channel on how to make your boards private, so you can check that out if you're interested in learning more about that feature. So when I click create, it's gonna give me an option to add some pins to my board. So let's say that I want to look at a couple of pins directly that will be saved to this new board. So I can save a few pins if I want. If I don't want to do this, I can just click on done, and then I will be navigated to my board. So the pins that I saved show up here quite neatly. Now, the reason why this again is a personal board is because I am the only contributor here. So if I want to add more collaborators, maybe you want to add a team member, or you want to add different people that you are creating a group board with, then you can search those by name or email and then send them an invite to join your board. Another cool thing that you can do is that you can take on more ideas anytime and look for things that you can add or directly save to your board. So for example, let's say that I want to save a few pins, I can do that directly from this tab as well. You can also click on the organize section, and then you can move these pins around if you want, move them up or down if you have a large number of pins. You can also select them to be deleted, or you can also copy those pins if you want. You can do any of these things to make your board a little bit more, let's say, organized, right? And lastly, you can also keep notes. So if you want to keep specific notes which are private to this board, nobody else has access to them, you can create your notes here as well, and you can write whatever it is that you want to write to these boards. So tutorials about Pinterest from YouTube, for example. And only you will have access to these notes, and not everyone who will see, this particular board. So this is perfect for personal users because they might want to add notes on, let's say, a product that they looked at or a project that they were planning. But I think in general for business, you don't really need any of these features besides the organization and the ideas feature. Now, how do you add a description to your board? So you're going to click on these three dots here, and then you're going to go on edit board. So here's where you can add a board cover if you want. If you don't add a board cover, then Pinterest is going to pick up automatically a selection of the latest pins saved to that board, and it's going to showcase that as a board cover. I don't think that having a board cover is extremely critical to your success on Pinterest, but if you like organizing and if you have a brand theme or a brand palette, and let's say you represent a business and you want to have your logo on every board cover, you can go ahead and do that as well. Just Google board cover specs on any search engine, and you'll be able to find how to do that. Here is where you add a description of your board. So you can say this board includes pins and ideas on how to use Pinterest with helpful tutorials. Now, even though the pin description area is not, the board description area is not that important for your overall SEO, you can, however, still add a couple of keywords here if you want. Avoiding adding too many, keywords, or just adding them here and then having nothing else, because you want to make sure that it is readable by humans and, not really readable by a machine. Because if you add, let's say, 20 keywords here and then they get picked up as spam, that might not be the best way for you to create a solid account. So you can add a description here and maybe just add 3 to 4 keywords that are most relevant to that board, and then you can click on done, and then this particular board description will show up here as well. So anything that will help your audience understand what the board is all about, as well as helpful keywords that people might be searching this board from, is what you want to have here. So that's pretty much it for how to create a new board. And in future, you can always save your pins directly to this board. So for example, I can go back and show you how it's done. So let's say that I navigate to one of my Pinterest boards and I want to share some, save or repin some of the pins from this board. Then I can just click through to here, and then I can navigate to this board here and look at Pinterest tutorials and add that particular pin to this board as well. So it shows up here. I can just do that, and then voila, my board is, my pin is added. So that's pretty much it for how to, actually create boards and save relevant pins to them. All right, so moving on to the best practices when it comes to creating boards on Pinterest. First off, keep them as relevant as possible to your brand or business. Remember, you're not creating boards here to make cute projects in the future or think of all of the things that you otherwise do as a personal user on Pinterest. Instead, you're using Pinterest for business, which means that you need to be creating boards that your ideal audience or your target customers want to see in your account. In line with this is the next tip that I have for you, which is to always look at quality of boards instead of quantity. So it doesn't matter if you have 5 boards or you have 50 boards, it's better to have 5 boards that are high quality, optimized, and contain top-notch content, instead of having 50 boards which are just sort of 5 pins each and just have spammy content. It isn't going to help you when you focus on quantity over quality. Next up, make sure to save high quality pins to your board. So do not save spammy pins or pins that are really irrelevant to the title of the board, or in general come from influencers or content creators that are not really creating good content. You'll be able to figure this out by clicking through and seeing what these pins or where these pins are really leading to, as well as the make and the build of the image. So if the image is really dark, if they're not high quality, and if they don't really provide value to the people who will come across your board, then skip saving them to these boards. Next up, make sure to name your boards based on the keywords that you're targeting for your ideal audience. As mentioned, there is a full-on keywords tutorial on my channel, so you can check that out as well to understand how you can go about looking for keywords or specific categories that suit your audience. Again, the reason why you're creating these boards is so that the right people can find you on Pinterest at the right time, which means that the more strategic you are about the categories that you name as your keywords or your board names, that is going to be influential in how far your Pinterest account goes and how fast you can grow. And lastly, make sure to update your main boards regularly with fresh pins. Pinterest is a huge propagator of fresh pins and fresh content, much like any other social media platform this year. This means that if you've forgotten to pin to boards for, let's say, 2 years, or you haven't saved any new pins to your most important boards and you just sort of, just made them and forget them, then that's also not going to help you grow your reach. So make sure you're updating your main boards regularly with fresh pins. So that brings us to the end of this video. Now, I dive a lot deeper in my training programs where I share my signature framework on how to use boards effectively when it comes to growing your traffic, as well as optimizing them for search. Now, if you're interested in joining, you can check out the link in the description box below. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more such weekly videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.